Hello, this is Elmiha. Something has changed at Manchester City. The wingers hold width again, but the midfield rotates, and the press shifts from a 4-4-2 diamond to a 4-2-4 press, and it is starting to make the difference in the title race. Let's break it down. Donut build-up. City build in a 4+2 shape. When opponents press with 5, City create a simple 6 versus 5 advantage. If the press tries to lock play to one side, City break it through third-man combinations, often through Rodri. Once the ball goes wide, a 2 versus 1 forms in midfield. At that moment, one of the number 6s drops. If opponent follows him, City find the free number 6 on the far side and play through. If not, he turns and progresses. When the ball goes wide, a 2v1 forms in midfield. Bernardo Silva drops. Rodri moves beyond his marker and receives in space to break the press. Against man-to-man pressing, the shape changes. The centre-back split wide, and one of the number 6s drops all the way down, sometimes next to the keeper. This creates a so-called donut build-up shape, stretching midfield and opening central space. When the ball goes wide, another number 6 drops as well, making those gaps even bigger. The centre-back split wide, and one of the 6s drops deep. Then the second 6 drops as well, stretching the midfield. City use that space to break the press. On the left, if Doku comes inside, O'Reilly holds the width. If Doku stays wide, O'Reilly moves inside. On the right, Cherki pulls wide. Semenyo attacks the half space. Meanwhile, the double pivot keeps rotating. This constant rotation breaks the opponent's press. Bernardo moves forward. Rodri drops. The rotation frees Bernardo, and City break the press. City also use a different solution. They draw the press in, then go direct, either long balls into Haaland, or runs in behind using Haaland as the outlet. City draw the press and go long. Haaland attacks in behind, and City go direct. So in the first phase, City mix numerical superiority, rotations, deep movements from the number 6s, and direct play to consistently break the press. Return to 3-2-5. In the opposition half, earlier this season, with wingers unavailable or out of form, City often used a 4-2-2-2, a 4-4-2 diamond, or a 2-3-5, with fullbacks holding the width. But now with Doku back and Semenyo added, the wingers are holding width again. O'Reilly steps into midfield. City are back to their familiar 3-2-5 shape. The key here is the box midfield. Most opponents defend this with a 4-2-4 block, using the front 2 to screen the pivots. City's answer: not structure, movement. The double pivot Rodri and Bernardo constantly adjust. One drops into the back line, one pulls wide, one steps forward to draw pressure. Number 8s rotate with them. If Bernardo moves higher, they drop in. At times, City even form a 3-1-6, with 3 players between the lines. Silva and Cherki have total freedom. With that fluid box midfield, City break the press. Bernardo drops, Cherki comes inside. They disrupt the press and find Rodri. Cherki then moves forward, drags the midfield, and finds Doku in space. If the winger jumps to the stopper, number 8 pulls wide and breaks the first line. On the right, Cherki operates in the half space, creative passes, quick dribbles, constant threat. On the left, O'Reilly creates 2 versus 1 situations. If the midfielder steps out, he finds Doku, then times the behind run in half space, and attacks the box. If O'Reilly draws the defender, Doku gets space to go 1v1. If they double up, City recycle and switch. At that point, Nuni steps forward from the third centre-back role. Now you get rotations on the flank. Nunez opens up, then runs into the half space. Rodri covers. Semenyo comes inside, links with Cherki. Then the ball goes wide again, followed by a run inside. That movement breaks the line. In the final third, City flood the box and push up the line. O'Reilly joins Haaland, and both attack crosses. A lot of goals come from right side rotations, and aerial dominance from Haaland and O'Reilly are driving City's goals. If the ball is cleared, built on strong rest defense, City counter press immediately. Even if the opponent goes long, Kusanov covers the space, so City recover the ball high and stay in control. With fluidity in midfield, Doku's 1v1s on the left with O'Reilly's support, rotational triangles on the right, and aerial threat from Haaland and O'Reilly, City have built an effective attacking system. Switch to a 4-2-4 press. City have found defensive stability through a change in their pressing structure. Earlier in the season, they used a 4-4-2 diamond press. The front four pressed the back line, while the strikers screened the double pivot, with support from the advanced six. At the back, they kept an extra man. As soon as the opponent built up, the front two forced play to one side, with the six stepping in to support. This forced play wide and into long balls. But the structure had clear weaknesses. In midfield, City often faced 2 versus 1 situations. And when opponents matched numbers between the lines, those areas were exposed again. This was repeatedly exploited by Real Madrid in the Champions League round of 16 first leg, where City suffered a heavy defeat. After that, starting from the Carabao Cup final against Arsenal, City adjusted their pressing structure. Bernardo Silva dropped deeper, giving them an extra man at the back, while the wingers pushed higher, forming a 4-2-4 press. Unlike the previous 4-4-2 diamond, which pressed the opponent's back line aggressively, this new structure drops the pressing line slightly and focuses on controlling midfield, a more controlled and stable approach. The front two screen the double pivot, while the 2 sixes match the opponent's 8s. This removes the numerical disadvantage in midfield. The wingers tuck inside, blocking central lanes, so the opponent cannot progress through midfield. City step in at the right moment, forcing into long balls. At the back, Kusanov and Guehi dominate aerial duels. The backline and the double pivot win second balls, while Kusanov covers the space in behind. Through this structure, City regain defensive control and control the opponent's build-up. The front four block midfield access, forcing the opponent long. In deeper phases, they drop into a compact 4-4-2 block, keeping the block compact. With the work rate of Bernardo Silva and Rodri, they push opponents back and re-establish the 4-2-4 press. Defensively, the partnership of Kusanov and Guehi has settled, and O'Reilly and Nunes have adapted well as fullbacks, with Donnarumma's key saves. City kept clean sheets against Arsenal, Liverpool and Chelsea. Since the adjustment, City have won 5 in a row and regained momentum in the title race. They are back to their familiar 3-2-5, but with greater midfield fluidity, create chances through Cherki's creativity and O'Reilly's aerial presence, and stabilize defensively with the 4-2-4 press. So the question is simple: can Guardiola City win the Premier League title this season? That is all for today. Thank you for watching.